This is the Fifth Estate, coming to you from the Fort Hall School of Government in Nairobi City and Professor Mutahi Nguni. There are two types of elections. The first is the incumbent election. This happens when the incumbent president seeks re-election. The second is a succession election. Succession elections happen when the incumbent president is exiting and a new one is expected to take over. Succession elections in Kenya have been smooth. In 2002, Kibaki won with a landslide. In 2013, Uhuru became president with ease. And in 2022, Ruto walked into the presidency smoothly. However, incumbent elections have been violent. In 1997, we wanted to remove Moi, but we failed. And this is recorded as one of the most violent elections in Kenya. In 2007, we had plans of unseating Kibaki. The country degenerated into a state of civil war. If indeed incumbent elections are known to be rough, 2027 will be no exception. It will be guided by Murphy's Law that states anything that can go wrong will go wrong. If your smartphone falls to the ground, it always falls with the screen facing down. True? If your slice of buttered bread falls, the buttered side always falls facing the ground. Fact. And this will be the 2027 election for you. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
But what are these things that could go wrong in 2027? We will use a model by Donald Rumsfeld, former US Secretary for Defense. He taught us that in politics, love, and war, we must be guided by three things. 1. The known knowns. These are things that we know that we know. For instance, the 2027 election will happen on Tuesday, August 10th. This we know. The second is the known unknowns. These are things that we know to be true. However, when they happen, their impact is unknown. For instance, we know the election will happen on August 10th, 2027, but what will happen thereafter is unknown. We know that IEBC will conduct the election, but we do not know if the Supreme Court will nullify it. Similarly, our Constitution is too playful and open to legal misengineering. Did you know that this election could run from August 10th, 2027 to February 2028? Yes, this election can run for 6 months. This is a known unknown. The third thing that Rumsfeld taught us is the unknown unknown. These are things that we do not know that we do not know. The type of thing the Swahili nation calls mtajua hamjui. That is, you will know that you do not know. And this will be the Murphy's Law in 2027. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Let me explain the unknown unknowns in the 2027 election. All presidential elections attract cartoons. People who believe they can do a better job than Ruto. But so far, we have no idea who these cartoons will be. It is an unknown unknown. However, did you know that if a presidential candidate dies, the election is cancelled and a new election is called for? It is in the Constitution. If you were a serious presidential candidate, then you sense defeat, would you slow down the election by taking out a cartoon presidential candidate? And if this would give you 60 extra days granted by the Constitution, would you do it? And the answer is absolutely. Why not? This is an unknown unknown. But for Ruto, his biggest challenge is not the unknown unknowns. It is the known unknown. Things we know will happen, but we do not know their impact. For example, we know that one Supreme Court judge will retire in January 2026 because he will turn 70 years old. However, we do not know who will replace him. We also know that 2 Supreme Court judges could retire voluntarily upon reaching age 65. But what is unknown is whether they will. If it is the Supreme Court that determines who becomes president, would you persuade the 2 judges to retire and take control of the bench? This is a known unknown.
The 2027 election will be guided by Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. A presidential candidate or running mate will die. And the election will be pushed from August to October. This way, someone will buy time and we do not know who. Then, a series of legal misengineering of the Constitution will happen. And before we know it, the election will run all the way to February 2028. We will have an election for 6 months. It is in the Constitution, and it is a known unknown. But only one man can stop this madness, the man with advantage. And this is William Ruto. For starters, the Constitution gives him the advantage of constituting the IEBC. And the framers of our Constitution learned from Nikita Khrushchev, who taught us that those who cast the votes do not matter. Those who count the votes are the ones that matter. That is why choosing IEBC was given by the framers of our Constitution to the president. Then they gave him the powers to appoint Supreme Court judges. If 3 of the judges retire next year, he will be given a list to choose from. And he will be the one to choose the bench that will make him president in 2027. This, dear Kenyans, is not legal misengineering. It is political engineering. Take it or leave.